OKC bounces back in game 2 of the 2025 NBA Finals, makes it a 1-1 series. Um, this was a pretty well-rounded game, by the Oklahoma City Thunder. It was pretty well-rounded by the Pacers too, but obviously the Pacers didn't win, so, um, OKC only forced 15 turnovers, and they got a total of 10 steals. Obviously, nowhere near what, they had in game 1, but, um, they just did, like, everything right. I mean, they were keeping Indiana, mainly in that first half was where I really noticed it. Um, they held the Pacers to 15 for 43 from the field, 7 for 22 from 3. Again, they forced 9 turnovers in the first half, but they did a really great job defensively. Especially in this first half. Even Halliburton had 3 points, 3 assists, 1 for 5 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3 at halftime. And he ended up with 17 and 6 assists. So you did a good job of not letting him score. Um, he was 7 for 13, 3 for 8, not the worst efficiency, but something that you did here, 5 turnovers. You made him have 5 turnovers, and that's big because Tyrese Halliburton has so many games where it's like however many 10 assists and no turnovers. He has got a bunch of those games or 12 assists, no turnovers. Um, they got a lot from everybody. I mean, Siakam had 15, Halliburton 17, McConnell had 11, Nemhard 11, Turner 16, Neesmith 14, Matherin 14. Um, then Obi Toppin was 1 for 8, 3 points. Wasn't great. But other than that, everyone that played real minutes was not the worst scoring wise, but Siakam, another kind of rough game, 3 for 11. 8 of his points came from the free throw line. And OKC just built on momentum. And it's hard to stop a team like OKC when they have momentum like that. Um, and even back to the threes, OKC was 7 for 19 from threes in the half as well. So they made the same amount of threes as the Pacers. And I said in a short I put out, I said that the Pacers really need to hone in on, I think, on 3 points because they um take more than OKC. OKC doesn't take a lot. They do a lot of mid-range and driving with their personnel of J-Dub and Shea. Obviously they can make threes. They are good, but it's just not what they do the most. But Indiana ended 14 for 40 from 3, which is 35%. OKC 14 for 36. They made the same amount. OKC took 4 or less. So I don't think that was a big deciding factor in this game. And then if you look at field goal percentage as a whole, Indiana picked it up. They were 37 for 82, while OKC was 40 for 82. OKC just made 3 more shots. But something that I'm really going to give praise for, and obviously, like Shea ended with 34. This was the first team since the 2019 Raptors to have 5+ players score 15 points in a finals game. I mean, so Shea had 34, J-Dub 19, Wiggins 18 and 21 minutes. Amazing game for Aaron Wiggins. 5 threes. Caruso 20 points, super impactful, and Chet had 15 points as well. So all 5 of those players had 15 or more. Again, first team since the Raptors in 2019 to do so. But Shea ended with 8 assists, sure, but 2 turnovers. But every time Shea got doubled off of, a screen, they blitzed him, they did whatever. He split the double team almost perfectly every single time, and he was making the right pass to an open J-Dub in the corner or to a Chet on the wing for a 3 or, for an Aaron Wiggins, again, who we said had 5 threes. And he did such a great job with that tonight, really showing that the passing game. And obviously, he's a point guard, he can pass, but some people, um, Shea sometimes either holds the ball too long or he doesn't necessarily look to pass maybe as much as he should for a guard sometimes. I mean, obviously he's a good passer. He averages like 6 or something a game. He had 8 tonight, so he's still a good passer, but sometimes it's nice to see that he, will trust his teammates. Obviously, he had us so much help tonight, but and then the last thing I want to say about OKC, you're never going to outwork them. I mean, they took out Shea, they put in Kenrich Williams, who Kenrich Williams is not maybe somebody that a lot of people know, but he hustles. I mean, the amount of I want to see, so they had 43 rebounds as a total for OKC, and they had 11 offensive. But there was a possession where they got 3 or 4 offensive rebounds in one possession because Caruso tipped it out. Case and Wallace, got the rebound again in the same possession. You're just never going to outwork OKC. And I mean, they're a bunch of young, scrappy, fast guards. That's literally what their team is, and they do a great job of showing it. The Pacers, again, Halliburton had a really awful first half. When you look past the 1 for 5 in the second half, that means he was 6 for 8, 2 for 4 from 3 in the second half. Good, but again, man, if he's not making shots at the beginning of the game, he's not. He's probably not going to shoot a lot. He's probably not going to have a super high scoring game. And if you're keeping him from having a high scoring game and a relatively low assist game, only 6 assists, then you're doing something right. A lot of I mean, 1 for 4 from 3 for Siakam, 1 for 4 from 3 for Nemhard, 1 for 5 from Miles Turner, 1 for 5 from Obi Toppin from 3. I will say there was multiple times Miles Turner, I think, yeah, he obviously only made 1 in this game, but there were a few times in this game where Miles Turner was on the 3-point line and Hartenstein was just in the paint. They weren't closing out, and obviously, again, they won. But part of the reason they lost game 2 is how the 3 ball was a big thing in game 1, and OKC gives up the threes if they don't really trust people. If you're not a Stephen Curry, if you're not someone that is known for just where the 3 is your identity. But 4 minutes left in the first quarter. That had happened twice already where Hartenstein was stuck in the paint and Miles Turner had an open 3. He hit one of them. He didn't hit the other. But they got to do also a better job of limiting either Chet or J-Dub. Chet, I'm going to have a conversation about Chet in the offseason because Chet either has a really bad game or he's just kind of stuck in the middle. It's very rare that you see him have a 28-point night. He obviously can. He's super talented, but it's surprising to me how much he sometimes just doesn't look to in game 1, he had 6 points. Tonight he had 15. He was 6 for 11, but I would love to see Chet take a bunch of shots. I would love for him to embrace that. I'm not gonna say when, but a Porzingis role, you know what I mean? Porzingis everywhere. Now I'm not just saying Porzingis in Boston, but Porzingis because he's a huge, lanky, tall center who is a great shooter. He's a great shot blocker, maybe not the best defender as a whole in general, but he's a great shot blocker. But he just doesn't, I don't know, he doesn't score as much as I like. But I mean, Chet had 11 in the first half, J-Dub had 9, and Caruso had 8. They just weren't really able to stop anybody. And nonetheless, I mean, Shea had 34 on 11 for 21, 11 for 12 from free throw. They did a decent job of holding Shea off the free throw line to start that game. With 9 minutes left in the third quarter, Shea had only got there 5 times. Obviously, he got there more down the stretch, as I just told you, what he ended with. But they did a pretty good job with it. And even in the first game, Nemhard did a good job of not fouling Shea when he was looking for the contact. I think that's something that they could focus in on more because if you're going to get Shea frustrated because he's not getting the contact or the calls he wants. I think that's a win in any way. But yeah, I mean, great bounce back game from OKC. The last thing I thought was kind of funny is a minute and 45 seconds in, the Pacers were already in the bonus in the third quarter, which I just thought was funny. I mean, that doesn't really have to do with much, but I just thought that was an interesting thing that less than 2 minutes into the out of the half, Thunder put Pacers in the bonus. Pacers are a really streaky team. They had a quick 10 points, and Mark Dayton was like, all right, I gotta, call a timeout. And, like they made it go from a 25-point game to like a 12-point game really quickly at one point, but they were just never able to come back. And but yeah. That was game 2 of the NBA Finals. I'm super interested to see. Game 3 is a big tell. Game 3 is a big game, and I hope that the Pacers didn't get complacent or comfortable after winning just one game.